All right, let's make that camera. There we go. Perfecto. How's it going, everybody? This is Jose Trujillo. I'm the world's greatest living artist. And I'm coming to you from an art studio just because it's available to come to you from the art studio. I put on my special glove. The doctor's about to operate. Tan, tan, tan. Okay, guys, I'm going to make a painting today in my awesome painting style. Got my Starbucks ready. Talk about yumminess. Just talking about yumminess. Here we go. I'm going to start out by drawing. This is a landscape with some awesome trees, okay? I'm going to start out by drawing the horizon horizontally, of course. Horizon is horizontal. And this is intuitive drawing. Do not let people tell you you can't do this, because many artists have given their blessed insights in order for us to learn how to do this. Many artists such as Van Gogh, Monet, I don't know, you name any of them. They have given us this ability to well, not ability, but kind of open the doors for us to express ourselves, right? And to also be creative. The artists before us, we kind of sat on their shoulders. That's why Cézanne, I believe Cézanne was called the father of modern art. No? I don't know who coined that. Some artist said he's father to us all. I dig it. I believe it. I think this guy's paved the way for many of us. And whether it's your thing or not, we can't dismiss the fact that they were allowing us to see something else. They were helping us see something else. And that's why I'm such a fan of the old meisters. The old meisters. They kind of they were look guys, it's okay to do it the way that you want to do it. The thing is that every generation has kind of fought the status quo, right? And right now there is a lot of stuff happening that it reminds me a lot of the sort of what the Impressionists and the Post-Impressionists were going through, especially the Impressionists were going through, because there's a lot of realism right now. There's like a rebirth of realism, which I think is beautiful. I love it, and naturalistic painting. There's also a lot of kind of, if you're not doing it like this, you're doing it wrong thing going on. And I get it. I think a lot of people may be upset. That's what it sounds like sometimes to me, with the expressionist movements, and a lot of people tend to get upset with that. I don't know. At least that's been my experience when I talk about art. They're like, well, does it look like something? Or and I know that usually people that say stuff like that are either really very much into realist work, or they haven't been they don't follow art, so that's the way to gauge art, right? It's whether it has that realistic element, and if it doesn't, then because they don't follow it, right? It's nothing to do with anything. They just don't follow it. some people get upset and they're like, oh, this uneducated, people, blah, blah, blah. It has nothing to do with it. It's just they follow it or they don't. It's that simple, in my experience. Um, Usually, a lot of purist artists get upset with that. They're like, you should know more about art, man. It's like, no, maybe they're paying attention to something else that has gotten their attention in life. Maybe they're into sports, or I don't know, whatever. We're all into different stuff. So, having said that, there is a lot of that going on because we're presented with a rebirth, right? I think, especially from the early 2000s, maybe late 90s started. Maybe I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Anyways, I don't know how true that is, but there's a I love again for the academic style, atelier academic type of thing going on, and I love it. When I see it, I'm like, whoa, that's really great, well painted. But on the same, I don't know if position of that on the other end, I guess not the same position, but on the other end of that, you also have artists who paint abstract, saying that this academic painting is not good painting. So you have this kind of pull and push thing going on. And what I get out of this is that there is a shortage problem. And I learned this from a mentor. There's a shortage problem. Every time we come up with shortage ideas, is because we're trying to make sense of something, and we can't accept that both can coexist. And I think that's a problem if we don't realize that. If we don't realize that it is super awesome that people are creating a sort of like a rebirth into naturalistic or academic painting, or very much very academic, very anatomy driven type of work. And it's okay also that there's people like me, right, that are like, well, I'll dabble somewhere in between. I don't know, it's not realistic, but it's not completely abstract, either. And I think that's it can form a problem when we don't accept both. I think we need to come into terms that they're just different ways of expressing. Maybe people feel the need to have some sort of structure. Maybe this idea of the 50s or the 60s doesn't doesn't really, I don't know, the millennials or or would it be, the millennials or the generation before that, I don't know what you would call it. What is it? Gen X? Something? I don't know. Anyways, I hope you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about. But this idea of shortages, I think that is not good. We need to come to realize that there is room for different ways of painting. There is room for different ways of seeing things, expressing, and it's okay that some want to go back and check out sort of missing links, to realism, and maybe something else will be born out of that. I don't know. And it's okay that some of us are okay with derivative artwork, and it's okay. It's it's okay that we're all experimenting different ways. It can only see what I've learned is that not everybody can be avant-garde, and not because they can't, because it's not everybody's job. Not everybody can be the avant-garde artist, and I think that there is a lot of anxiety with artists. I certainly there was a lot of anxiety with me, and what that creates, in my opinion, is a lot of, and I know I say a lot of a lot, a lot of a lot. Paralysis. This is where I'm going at. It creates a lot of paralysis because we tend to think that only certain people can paint a certain way, and usually we are those people that want to, especially when we're younger, we are those people that want to be at the forefront, and we want to be the Picassos of our generation. We want to be the Warhols of our generation. And we want to, and that creates, I believe that creates a lot of problems. And not wanting that, the stress of that. Not wanting it, but the stress of it. You can want it, it's fine. You can go become the new Warhol, right? Whatever that looks like now. Maybe it's Banksy, I don't know. Whatever it looks like. I would have loved the idea to do that. It doesn't mean that I gave up on the idea. I know some artists think that. They're like, well, you gave up on the idea. It's not that. It's that I realize that stressing on an idea many times cuts the flow. So every time I stressed on something, it created this sort of clog. And what happened is that I wouldn't paint because I was too stressed. Whether I was painting something avant-garde, or I was creating something avant-garde, or I was just being this sort of, artist like everyone else, the sheep, right? This derivative sheep. And that created a lot of problems. The very first problem that it creates is that you paralyze. And I've talked in other videos. Analysis by paralysis is a big problem because it's a form of, we think we're being perfectionists. We don't even call ourselves that because we're not even aware we're doing that stupid thing. But we think we're looking for something very original, but we stop creating the thing that will allow us to be that original. In other words, we stop the flow thinking that somehow, if we think about it enough, this original new essence or this thing, this way, will come and visit us and say, oh, I was just waiting for you. I'm so glad you stopped painting for 5 years and thought about it and just kind of, philosophize your way through it. It doesn't happen that way. And I know there's a lot of information out there that suggests that things happen that way. Look at the fruits. Look at what people have created that state those things. Look at any avant-garde, and because many people go, oh, they were bold. Yes, but they didn't stop. I'm not saying don't be an avant-garde. By all means, shoot for that. I'm not saying don't be the Warhol of your generation. By all means, shoot for that. What I'm suggesting to you is that it will not come without action. It will not come by you stopping. And we are suggested that over and over. I even heard our teachers suggest that, and it's heartbreaking for me because action is the key. Picasso said it. He didn't just say it once, he said it many times in different ways. Action is the key. But we tell ourselves that somehow, and I mean, look at any great avant-garde painter, whoever you consider avant-garde. If you want to be a purist or whatever, it doesn't matter. But look at Dali. Dali was a pointillist. Look at Jackson Pollock. He used to paint differently. He used to paint bit more realistic, a lot more realistic. The thing is that many artists want that, but they stop. And I'm saying if that is your cup of tea, keep doing what you're doing and move to the direction that you want to move, but don't stop. Stopping is the problem. When I became more in love with the idea of creating something new, I realized that those were my most miserable moments. Not only because I spend a lot of time paralyzing and suffering, and the mind starts suffering because it's not that you're doing critical thinking, it's that you're bullshitting yourself. The stuff comes out of you working. It's not only till I started working again that I started seeing things. Many times you don't even realize that you're not even ready because you haven't worked enough. Many times you may think that you are, and I'm saying ready to take on the avant-garde ideas. Many times we're like, oh man, I want to paint like Dali and this and that, and your drawing skills are not on par of Dali, not on par of you. Not even developed. I know because that happened to me, and I know it's a tough pill to swallow, because nobody tells you that. Everybody, when you share your works, who do you show your work to? Friends and family. What are they gonna say? It's great. It's beautiful. And I'm not trying to discourage anyone. I'm saying many times we stop ourselves because we don't meet this idea of ourselves, and we hide and we stop. I know because again it happened to me. Every time you stop, that should be a sign. Every time you shrink or you stop, it should be a sign that you're going the wrong way. So you don't learn this in art school. I've had countless conversations with art professors, and they say, they treat it as if you're philosophizing. This is about action. This is about getting things done. Nothing will happen unless you get things done. I'll leave you guys with that. The name is Jose Trujillo. I am the world's greatest living artist, and I'm coming to you from my art studio to show you how I do a line of trees, a tree liner, something like that. This is the mess. Alright guys, take care. I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me try to zoom out. I guess I can't. Okay guys, till next time. Keep painting. Keep dreaming, keep going for it. Don't stop. Don't stop. Stopping is the problem. Bye-bye.